All right, here we go. Let's see. And we're 4 minutes late, so okay. What do we got? There we go. I think we're good. Audio, okay. I think we're all right now. Should be all right. Sorry for the technical difficulty with that today, but it's one of those days. Hopefully the signal will be strong and we won't lose the connection, but we'll see what we got here. And there we go, guys. We're connecting there. So today, August 23rd, 2020. What's going on, my PT peeps, my Walking Dead family, and my fighters? I am One Eye Bry, also known as PT. You don't know if I'm winking or I'm blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, and everything related to it. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different things and everything related to it. So we're going to talk about a bunch. So hopefully you guys can hear me this time. So I'm not sure what's going on. Check. Are we all right? Can we hear me all right? So, okay. Thank you, John. But yeah, it's one of those things where don't know what in one of those technical difficulty problems. We make it through. My PT peeps, where you're at for every Sunday. Thank you guys. I truly appreciate for it. So I'm not sure what was going on with that. But either way, we're here. And spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead. There hasn't been much Walking Dead news. There's been more Fear the Walking Dead stuff than anything. And, I think they're trying to push that a little bit. And that's okay, which is fine. But I want to know a little bit more about The Walking Dead. As, we're rapidly approaching the September. And once we get through August and September into October, it'll be smooth sailing, hopefully, barring any crazy situations. I would assume all the episodes are done for the first half of Fear, the Walking Dead World Beyond, and the Season 10, Episode 16. So Joey the Gator asks, did you hear about the two storms? I have, because I live in Florida, and this is hurricane season. It goes from the June 1st to December 1st. So it's definitely one of those things where we're always worried about hurricanes. And now it looks like the two storms are going to go past Florida, right to Texas, Louisiana area, maybe a little bit of Alabama. They're not sure exactly what they're going to be. So if you live in the area, Joey the Gator says, I live in Louisiana. And yeah, so hopefully you'll be safe. I'm not sure if there'll be more than a 1 or a 2, but either way, you have to be safe and secure. If you're in a flood zone, make sure you evacuate. And, for the people who don't live in Florida, live in a hurricane area, which is Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, the East Coast. You have to be kind of worried about things, but don't be over worried about them. If you live in an area, make sure you evacuate. It's one of those things where when I basically a couple years ago, when Hurricane Irma came, it was definitely going to hit Florida, and it did some damage, and we lost power for so many times. That feels like a zombie apocalypse. And kind of where we're in the state of now, a pandemic in the world, is one of those things where it feels like that. It feels like a zombie apocalypse when you don't have power. You don't have all the luxuries of going to get things at your beck and call, and whatever you want to have, go get it. If you want to go to the store, if you want to have this, not having electricity is the worst part of it. And I think that would be one of the worst parts of a zombie apocalypse, or just any kind of apocalypse. It doesn't even matter. Not having electricity, not having air conditioning, not having heating or cooling, whatever time of the year it is and where you're at and the location, everything like that, not being able to go to the store to get stuff. And, it just would change things in a great way. And, the zombie apocalypse is fictional. Hopefully it never comes to that. Hopefully we don't ever have an apocalypse. That's one of those things where it's fun to talk about and discuss. But in the back of your mind, you're like, I hope this never really happens. It's one of those things where you're like, I don't really want to deal with that stuff. Some people really ask, is this ever a possibility? And I don't think zombies ever are. It's one of those things that it's just fictional, and I just don't ever see that happening, because zombies don't really make sense in a lot of the mindset, because of how can the human body still do things if your circulatory system has failed, or you're bleeding, or you're necrotic tissue? How could you walk, and how could you do those certain things? It just doesn't make sense though, right? But that's a funny thing that, yes, it's 2020, and of course, it's never happened before. We're having two storms coming to the same area. It's just crazy, right? It's just one of those things where you're like, what is going on this year? What's next, right? Next week, next month, next week, next month. It's like one thing after another. That's just the way 2020 is going. But Darth Xenon03 asks, do you think Virginia wanting to know about CRM will lead to conflict? I don't know. I mean, I think that CRM would have been connected with Ginny already. We would have seen it somehow, some way potentially, or they're going to come around and really take over the Pioneers and take over things. If Althea is going to bring back Isabel, which I hope she does, I hope CRM comes back, and it makes sense that they do. Like, why would you bring in Isabel and CRM, the connecting point in Fear the Walking Dead season 5, to not come back around? It just seems like it's a reach if you don't come back to connect those things. And I still believe that CRM, which is kind of interesting that it has 3 circles, the, biohazard, caution kind of feel to it, but it's 3 circles. And we have 3 shows: Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, and World Beyond. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I think the Walking Dead universe does things in a way, a lot of times in a way that makes sense and a good thing. So Yenzi Q&A, hey, Brian, do you think Carol told anyone about Morgan, since she's the only one that's still on the show that talked to him before he left? I don't know, right? It's like one of those things that when people leave the show, they don't really get talked about. Look at Heath. That has never been mentioned whatsoever, which is pretty crappy for a character that is from Alexandria. They're living in Alexandria. There are Alexandrians there, and it's never even brought up. How about Negan and the helicopter? Never really brought up. How about Jadis went away, or Anne, when she was called there, went away, and no one's ever thought about where she went on there as well. Like, I know we get 16 episodes and they're a little less than an hour each episode, but there's a lot of material that is still covered in the show, but there's some things that make us wonder, like, are they ever going to come back around? What's up with the A and B? What's up with the PPP card? Was that just going to be the Pikes? It just thinks like, is that what it's going to be answered? Is that ever going to be answered? Scott Gimple, Angela Kang, Kirkman, Nicotero, the rest of the writers and producers on the show, they answer questions, but there's still some unanswered questions out there too. So we'll have to see if it ever gets answered. Sorry, I saw some good questions. Where was the good one that I just passed? A bunch of people just had some stuff. Mario 3 Q&A. Which characters from World Beyond will cross over to another show in your opinion? I don't know. I mean, the World Beyond, I really wouldn't want to see any of those kids die. So I would assume all of them can cross over to Fear the Walking Dead, and then Fear the Walking Dead if they want to branch off that way for another show, or just keep Fear, or have Fear come to, The Walking Dead, because The Walking Dead is the main show. But ultimately, I would assume Morgan and co. bring people back to wherever they want to go. The show, the movies, I'm just not sure how they want to end up doing that, because I just like that. It just makes sense too. So Joey the Gator, I'm going to have a video of that. I actually have it ready to go. I'm going to break down the new teaser trailer. And yes, you see Morgan. It's pretty much like, why did we even have that cliffhanger of what's going to happen to Morgan when we clearly see that he's alive there? And we all know that Morgan's not going to die. He says it himself. I don't die. That's crazy that we could think that even be a possibility of that as well. So I don't know what happened to the member that was here, maybe in the technical difficulties on there, but I think we have a new level 3 PT Peep here, and I believe her name was Julie. So thank you, Julie, for joining our membership program. I truly appreciate that. And everybody, if you want to, Julie McGuire, I think you're my new PT Peep on there. Thank you much for, becoming a member. And you don't have to become a member. Level 1, level 2, level 3, different price points on there as well. But I truly appreciate it, because that helps the channel continue to go and grow and to make videos every day and continue on with this great stuff. And, it just takes, donations and stuff to come there to pay the bills that come across for that. I would love to be able to do this full time, and I think I do a pretty good job. I wouldn't consider it full time. I guess it is, right? If you post a video every day, are you a full time YouTuber? I guess so. I don't know. But I just love talking about The Walking Dead with a great group of people, yourself and everybody in here. I truly appreciate it. It's pretty awesome that we have this ability to, talk and communicate from people outside the United States, inside the United States, all over the globe. It's pretty cool. I love that. And I thought that was a great idea when we had the Walker Stalker conventions. And I really hope down the road at some point there's another way of having a good convention. Maybe it's once a year in Atlanta. That would be pretty awesome to have down the road when the world gets back to normal, to have everyone come there to meet some of the guests, the cast, the crew, everybody there, the directors, the writers, whoever you want to meet there. It was a pretty awesome experience to be able to meet celebrities, but also fans of The Walking Dead. It was a pretty cool community feel, and hopefully it comes back to that. It doesn't have to be Walker Stalker or any other conventions. It can just be, a different company, and, a better company, because they did some crazy things allegedly and stuff, and it just doesn't work out when, it just stuff falls apart like that too. So, Scoozy Slots 16. I don't know how to say your name. Q&A. Do you think Rick will ever return to the show after the movies? I hope so. I just don't see it ever happening unless it's like the last episode or the last 2 episodes of the show, because Rick Grimes is very essential to the show. He's essential to the universe. He's essential to everything Walking Dead. But Andrew Lincoln is not Rick Grimes, is not his main character in life. He's got a family. He's got stuff going on. He lives in London. He's not an American person that lives here and can come here easily to be away from his family. And that was ultimately what was going on with that. So you can film movies a lot shorter time than filming a 16 episode season. He can be gone for 3 months, 4 months, and then go back home, and he can come back and go do those things, or they can film 2 movies back to back, or all 3 movies back to back to back if they're going to do that. I'm not sure what their plan is. I don't know if COVID-19 is really messing up what they have planned, but it's pretty interesting to see. And we just don't have any information. I know the latest information about the movies, and people ask all the time, is Andrew Lincoln, is he going to be in the movies? Did they finish the script yet? When are they going to start filming? Who's going to be in it? Who's going to be the director? We just don't know those answers, and hopefully we get stuff answered, down the road. Maybe I would assume next year they start filming, and that's so far away from next year. That's so long from where we're at. But also, how long has Rick Grimes been away from the show? Half of season 9, all of season 10, and then we still don't have a movie or anything. We had a little trailer of a helicopter going to a city that I believe is somewhere in the Northeast, and it looks like Philadelphia. I think that's where it could be. If a Fear character could cross over to The Walking Dead, who would you want to cross over? Well, if you want that to happen, is Morgan a Fear the Walking Dead character now? Is Morgan, if Morgan goes back to The Walking Dead, is he the person that, is coming back to the show, or is he the crossover? I don't know. It just would be interesting to see if they have that. Don't know if we would have a different character. So let's take Morgan out of the equation. I like the idea of having, I don't know, John Dory. That'd be pretty awesome. But John Dory was a character that came on this season. If it want to be the original characters, maybe Alicia, maybe Strand, Daniel Salazar would be pretty awesome. I think that would be pretty cool too. So let's see what you got going on there too. So yeah, someone brings up off the subject. Have you seen Only on Netflix with Chandler Riggs? Yes, I have. I made a video on it for sure. John says, I enjoyed your audio clip of Fight For Us. Looking forward to more of those. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. I definitely enjoyed making that. It was a little more time consuming than I thought. And, I have nothing, I have a lot of stuff going on, but right now it's still it's like not having enough time for all the different things. I would love to make my Fight For Us books available in audio, and I think it would bring different aspects to it, and it would be good storytelling. I guess I would do the reading of it because, I know how the characters should kind of sound and what they're trying to be and how the, emotion of it is on there too. I know a lot of people have asked about the audiobooks. I would love to do it down the road to have more and more and more and more of them. But, to have 12, 13 books of audio format, it takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to do it. And maybe down the road, I think that'd be pretty cool too. So that'd be pretty awesome. Let me see what you got here. Thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. Sorry, I'm getting caught up with the chat now. It just jumped around for it too. So thank you for people coming and joining me today. Efren asks, hey, Whenever what do you think of another possible spinoff of The Walking Dead could cover? I don't know. I think the spinoffs, if you want to call them spinoffs, they're trying to do something with the early stages of the apocalypse with characters that are not on the show anymore. Maybe T-Dog, maybe Glenn, maybe Negan. That would be early on Negan. I think that would be the best way to go about it, is Negan having the early Negan. Here's Negan, and then Negan lives. I think that would be the best way of spinning anything off. Ashley O'Neill, what do you think the masked person could be Felix from The World Beyond, and that's why they wanted so bad to premiere The Walking Dead after The Walking Dead? I definitely think so. I don't think Felix is going to be that character, but I think that I don't know what they want to do with that. Why did they have to have The Walking Dead season 10 finale to be the same day as The World Beyond premiere to be the same day as the season 10 finale? unless it's just they wanted to have a show roll over to the next, because a lot of people wouldn't watch it probably if it's on its own. So a lot of people watch shows because of the show that they watched before it, so it rolls into the next show. A lot of times, before we had all these channels, there was a lot of channels that, like Fox on Sundays, you would just watch Fox from 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30. You would watch shows from 8 to 10 o'clock based on, what the show was, because the one show ran into the next. And I think some people still do that. But I don't know if we're going to get a crossover character for Fear the Walking Dead. I just don't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me to see that just yet, because we haven't even seen World Beyond at all. So how can that character, the timeline, it just doesn't make too much sense to me. My guy, William Brown. Hey, Bri, here's my weekly $5. What do you think of the new Batman trailer? Thank you, William. You don't have to do a $5 every time, but I truly appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. Don't feel obligated to do that at all, but thank you. We truly appreciate it. What do I think of the new Batman trailer? To be honest, I haven't even seen it. I watched I know I'm behind of the Walking Dead, the DC fandom that was yesterday. I didn't see any of it. I didn't see the Suicide Squad trailer. I didn't see the new Batman trailer. I watched the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer, and it looks pretty awesome. And it's kind of crappy that you think about it and you find out that, Zack Snyder wanted to make this movie and was like, man, he should do that. And he wanted to make it a certain way, but time, money, budget, that definitely happens. I mean, it's definitely one of those things that happens all the time. And it's like, man, I just don't. It bothers me that the directors and producers and whoever have this vision for it. And maybe it's over the top and it's too much money. If a movie costs, $600 million to make, they're not going to be able to do all those different things. The budget comes into play. But I thought about doing the reaction trailer videos, but some people don't even, I don't know. My setup here and stuff. I did it the one time and I tried to play it and it just didn't work out. But I have the question to you guys, like, how many Batman movies are we going to get with different Batman actors, right? It's crazy to think that, we had the show and then the movie and then the other movie and then a different Batman and then a different Batman and then a different Batman and then the different trilogy of Batman and then the new Batman, Batfleck, and now we have, the new Batman coming out. It's like, man, it's just crazy to think how many movies are we going to get of the same guy that's different every time. The different actor portrays it a little different way. And I don't know if Pattinson can do it, if he can pull it off, but they said the same thing about Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton's one of my favorite Batman actors. Michael Keaton's one of my favorite actors of all time, and it's just like, wow, he did a great job, and I still think that he's one of the best Batman actors there are. It just brings different to it, but I had to check out the Batman trailer, that's for sure. And I thought the Snyder Cut trailer was pretty awesome, and I'm excited to watch that on HBO Max. But weird Walking Dead theories. Who is your favorite Walking Dead villain? That's a good question. I'm gonna bring that. That's gonna be our poll question of the day for it, guys. Who is your favorite villain on the show? Right. I'm guessing that it's going to be Negan. But to me, Mr. Mom with Keaton, yeah, it's great. It's a great 80s movie, Mr. Mom. I don't know. Favorite villain. Like, there's different reasons to like a villain, right? I think villain goes a different way. Like, do you like Negan? Do you like the Governor? Do you like Alpha? Do you like Beta? My favorite villain is tough because they all bring different things and different reasons too. Like Ginny, yeah, Ginny is I think all of Fear the Walking Dead villains are pretty bad. Martha was pretty bad. Ginny's pretty terrible. I just don't get it. Don't get it. So, but man, favorite villain. That's a tough one. I mean, I think, man, let's see. Let's see what we got here. I don't know, Bob Smith, you did not answer the question. Did you see it? I didn't see it. Post it again. I'll answer it. If you ask it right now, I'll answer it. But I guess that's a tough one. Father Gabriel's my favorite villain. It's just pretty interesting because they all bring something different to the table. I think the governor is definitely up there. See, I don't really see Shane as a villain like some people do. I like Shane. Shane, if you put Shane on the villain list, Shane's probably my favorite character on that list. Like Shane, the governor, Negan, Alpha, the Wolves, Beta. I don't know. Frico Rico says, to be honest, Rick. No, Rick's not a villain. Come on now. He says, just wanted to know what happened to the Vatos, Dob. Well, Bob, the Vatos in season 1 are gone. If you saw the deleted scene that they were killed by a random group of people, we don't know if it was the governor or Merle or walkers or whatever happened to them on the airport. They became walkers, and it's just definitely interesting for it too. So Jack Goodwin is asking about the Doomsday Kingdom comic, the best story after The Walking Dead. I have no idea what that is, so why would I promote something that I don't know what you're talking about? There's a lot of comic stuff that come out that I don't even promote anything with that. So I don't know what that is. So how can I promote something if I'm not sure what that is? There's a lot of comics that have come out after things. I don't know, but I think the best story after that is Fight for Us. But, I'm biased, of course. Let's see what we got for that. So thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. So like I said at the beginning of it, maybe it was the beginning before, but there's not much Walking Dead stuff out. There's not really much material on there. I guess I have to go on Twitter and check out a couple things. A couple people wrote in the chat. Hopefully help you follow stuff on Twitter, the different things of The Walking Dead, the Skybound account of The Walking Dead. Hopefully they have some good stuff. But recently it was more stuff about Fear the Walking Dead. And there's another trailer that's coming out that I'm going to break down. I'll actually do it today, and I'll post it later this week. Some information potentially came out about the season 10 finale, and there's some logistics of, I guess analytics of who could probably die or possibly die in the season 10 finale, which characters that I'll share with you there from a couple different sites. So I thought it was pretty interesting. I still think that we're going to lose a lot of characters in the season 10 finale. We haven't really lost anybody, right? So, we have, but we haven't. We lost Alpha, but we thought that was going to happen, right? We lost Sadiq, not the biggest character, Sadiq being connected with the Rosita curse. It's definitely a thing where you're like, okay, there's definitely some different curses and some different, connecting points with it, and being connected with Rosita in my eyes are definitely involved. And I think Father Gabriel is definitely up there. I could see Father Gabriel being gone. Several people from Oceanside, several people like smaller characters. Like, I don't know where people are coming up with this, but every season it's like, Daryl's going to die. Yep, Daryl's going to die. There's a rumor going around that Daryl's going to this and Daryl's going to happen there. So not sure why that happens. I think it's just people trolling. People love to have all this different talk about this. And, it's just one of those things where people love to stir the pot. And that's just what happens there too. So I don't know what's going to happen with it. But, some people, I saw an article recently about season 7 of The Walking Dead really deterring a lot of fans and really causing a lot of problems with the story and the fans. And it makes sense because a lot of people didn't want to see Glenn or Abraham die. And I didn't want to see that happen either, but it's definitely something. Yenzi says, hey, Bri, tomorrow's my birthday. Well, happy early birthday, Yenzi. Happy birthday to you. Hopefully it's a good one, and I don't know how it's going to be with birthday parties right now. Just be safe for sure. So I just think that, losing a lot of characters, story-driven stuff, it just took a hit there. They were doing stuff that, when a show, jumps the shark, they say, is where it's doing a lot of crazy things that it shouldn't really do, and it's never done in the past, and stuff doesn't really add up, and stuff is out of the norm for where it's been. It's interesting because that happens. It just makes sense because Isaiah is saying, the latest that really gets me, Bri, people spreading rumors about Carol dying. I'm like, yeah, sure, pal. Yeah, I mean, that's another one. Carol and Daryl, I just think are going to make it to the very end of the show. It just makes sense for me on so many levels, right? So Carol and Daryl got to carry the show. Negan's got to be involved with it. Maggie's got to be involved with it. And I'm just not sure where the show's going to go. And, you know, I could see the show being on the way out, but I just don't know where they're going to go with it if it's not that there's a big battle with CRM. Season 11 is coming up next year. Season 12 could be the last one. Maybe we get a 13th season. That'd be kind of cool if we get season 12 and or 13 to really bridge the gap of the show and the series and the big spinoffs where we're going to be with that, because I don't know what's happening, why we're only getting 2 seasons of The World Beyond, but they have to have a plan for that, right? If they blatantly told us before we even seen any episodes of The World Beyond that we're going to get a limited series of 2 seasons of it. So why is that happening? They have to have a plan for the show to connect with The World Beyond, connecting with Fear the Walking Dead and or The Walking Dead, because why wouldn't that happen? What if we like the show? What if the show is good? I would assume the characters live and they join up and we have Fear the World Beyond, World Walking Dead, or I don't know, Fear the World Beyond or something. I don't know if it merges for some sort of spinoff of it, but again, I don't write for the show. I don't know what the plans are. I'm just not sure too. So, Wilson asks, how many episodes, Bri? 16 per season. The World Beyond is 10 episodes. Season 1 is 10 episodes, and I'm not sure if the second season is going to be 10 episodes as well. 2, I'm not sure if, I know Fear the Walking Dead is probably going to be 16 episodes, and The World Beyond is, or The Walking Dead is 16 episodes, always, except for these 6 extra episodes for sure. Mario, I think you asked me this before. I apologize I didn't answer this, but thank you for repeating the question. Do you think CRM could kill Dr. Leo Bennett if he fails to do what they want of him? We didn't really see him in a lot of the trailer. Well, I think Dr. Leo Bennett, that'd be pretty cool if Dr. Leo Bennett is where Rick is. And that's where the kids from World Beyond meet up with Rick. And they go there, and they don't know who Rick is. Well, we do, of course. And they don't know what's going to happen there. And they don't know what's going to happen there. With Dr. Leo Bennett being the father of Hope and Iris, that makes sense for that to be the jumping off point or the reason behind The World Beyond, connecting with Fear the Walking Dead, potentially all being bonded by the global glue of CRM too. So pretty cool stuff. Bob Smith says, where can you get your book so I can, where can you get your info so I can look? I'm not sure what you mean there, Bob, but if you want to know my book series, I thought that's where we were going. You can check out the links in the description of this video and all videos. They're on Amazon as well too. But thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. But the big thing with all the news going around is Morgan. And if you watch Fear the Walking Dead, you know that Fear the Walking Dead is, it's interesting show. We'll go with that. It's got its ups and downs and twists and turns, and a lot of people like the show. The first 3 seasons. Well, I wouldn't even say a lot of people, but several people liked the show in the first 3 seasons and thought season 4 and season 5 were terrible, and they got away from the show, what it used to be, and we lost some main characters, and we lost some big things too. So I don't know if Morgan is a good thing for the show or not. I do like Morgan being on the show. I do like John Dory. I like the new characters, John, June, Althea. You know, it just is interesting for where they're going with it. But so I'm not sure if it's going to be something that is going to be around for 10 seasons. I just don't know where they're going to be for it. And hopefully you saw the trailer and the teaser trailer with it. It definitely has a different feel of the show where it's going. It looks to be darker. There's supposed to be like mini movies. There's supposed to be so many different things. And I don't know if they're trying to do too much or reinvent the wheel, but I just hope it's entertaining. And if you haven't seen the teaser trailer, you definitely want to check out even if you have, there's something in there that's really funny. I don't think it's supposed to be really funny, but I found it really funny. And there's a picture of Morgan on there that I thought was really hilarious. And I'm going to talk about it in the video on there as well too. So I thought it was pretty interesting on there. Ashley asks, do you listen or watch any other Walking Dead channels? No. I have my own content. I have my own channels. I have my own stuff. I have my own stuff to worry about too. You know, I don't have time to go look at what other people are doing. I have my own book series. I have my own YouTube channel. I have my own house. I have my own stuff that I do on a daily basis. I got, you know, just too many other things to worry about what other people are talking about. And it's good because I like to worry about my own view, my own idea on there too. And, you know, there's other channels that are out there that, you know, I don't have anything nice to say about certain things, so I'm not going to say anything at all. I know this is 2020, and I know we're on YouTube, and I know there's a lot of stuff that people love to say, and like I'm just going to say my point, and I'm going to say what I need to say, and that's it. But I'm at the adage of if I don't have anything nice to say, I'm not going to say anything about them. There's some good channels out there. There's some great information, but there's also some stuff out there that's just trying to get you to watch. But I know that's what it is now. People love to make videos that have people watch stuff. And, you know, I have a video that I'm going to post, later this week about the whole Morgan stuff. And it's interesting because at the end of season 5, we were worried about Morgan. And I guess we still are, right? We don't know what's going to happen with him. But why did they set up so much stuff for it to be like, what's going to happen with Morgan? Who's going to save Morgan? Morgan this, Morgan that. Oh my goodness, what's going to happen to Morgan? And it's like, I kind of doubt that they brought him over for 2 seasons, then to kill him off on a show that needs more help than anything. We need some big characters, even though they really have not killed a lot of characters off on that show. You know, they killed off Madison, they killed off Nick, they killed off Travis, and then certain characters went off the show for different reasons, but, you know, we had different characters coming around. Majority of the cast is still there, and it's been there for a long time, and that's really different for the Walking Dead universe because a lot of stuff we had for the Walking Dead, we would lose a lot of characters every season. We would lose a main character, it felt, for a season, you know, season 6, season 7, season 8, season 9. You know, it's like so many times we lost so many characters for either going away, being killed off, not sure too. So, but we'll see what happens with it. And if you have seen the teaser trailer that's going around for Fear the Walking Dead, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. That Morgan's picture of the bounty hunter has this picture of like Morgan, because he's looking for Morgan, and it just looks hilarious. It looks like a terrible photograph. It looks like one of those things where I'll get into it more in the video that I'm going to make, but it's like, who drew this? It looks like a baby, you know, that baby filter that you can put on like a older adult's face, and it just looks like a group of that. Like I don't know where it is for sure, but let's see any questions we got here. 0 player 097. Who do you think have the thickest plot armor in Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead? Morgan for sure on Fear the Walking Dead. That's a good question. And then The Walking Dead, I don't know. Oh, there you said again. I don't know. I mean, Daryl for sure. Daryl, Carol, Negan. Fear the Walking Dead is Alicia and Morgan, you know, there too. So, yeah, I would go with those characters, and I guess the characters that you have to build the story arc too. I mean, there are certain things that I don't know why you have to make a character like do a lot of things, but also be like so, I don't know. Like, do you ever feel like Daryl's in danger like anymore? Like, I don't really feel like he's ever going to be in danger to be taken out. But we all know that Daryl is going to be a big part of the show. And I mean, I know that there's some things where you have to put some of your main characters in the big aspects of the show, but we all know that certain characters are going to live. You know, as a writer myself, there are certain times where you want the main characters to be put in a dangerous situation. And you kind of want the audience to feel like everyone's at risk. And I don't know where that came from besides Game of Thrones. You know, like, you ever watched Game of Thrones? I never read the book, so I don't know. But if you watch the show, you kind of had a feeling like certain characters were going to be around forever and certain characters were in danger. And then all of a sudden you're like, boom, that character's gone. You're like, okay, I guess that's the way of doing things. And then it put people at risk for, you know, different things. But I don't know if that's the right way of doing things, if you want to keep the audience on your toes. But like, when you're watching stuff, you're invested in these characters, right? Like, if you watch a show, you don't want to feel on edge all the time. Like, I have to worry about this character's safety. You just want to be in this universe and there as well. Like, we're talking about a zombie apocalypse here. We're talking about Game of Thrones. That's a fictional thing with dragons and this and the medieval stuff. And it's like, come on, right? But it's one of those things where I know that you want to watch a show or a movie or a series or whatever on there, and you want to be invested in them. And you want to feel like you like this character, don't like this character. We don't have to have our main characters and our main people put in dangerous situations like all the time. It's just a tough thing. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough thing to do because you want the story to be people drawn in, but then you don't want to feel like, well, you know, this character is not going to die, right? Like Morgan, we all know he's got to live. Rick, we all know he has to live. But, you know, it's funny. It just takes me back to the comic because Robert Kirkman clearly said, yeah, I'm going to kill Rick Grimes. Oh yeah, Rick will die. Don't worry. Rick's going to die. Yep. And he did in the comic, but it was the second to last issue. But before that, when we saw that, they were like, the comic can exist without Rick. Rick's this and Rick's going to be there. You know, come on. We all know that Carl can take over the stuff and the story can continue on. It lasted one more issue after Rick died. And you're like, well, I guess that was all talk. And maybe he was being serious. Maybe he wasn't. He loves to troll stuff, in my opinion. But I think that he had an idea. And writers have ideas all the time. They have this idea for that character, and then tangents happen. And you're like, well, that maybe should happen here. Maybe this should happen there. Maybe that should happen there. Or maybe I'm not going to use any of these ideas. But if Rick was going to die earlier in the show or on the comic, could Carl continue on with the comic? For sure. Could he carry it? For sure. But could Carl carry the show? Some people love, you know, Chandler Riggs, but I just don't think Chandler Riggs can really carry the show or carried the show. So I don't know if anybody can really carry the show besides Daryl and Carol. And it has to be, you know, a myriad of stories for different characters, because if a comic story comes to the show, it's usually divided up between several characters for different things and different reasons and different, you know, way to shoot it, to have stuff. Some characters aren't even on the show anymore. So who was this going to go to if Andrea was killed off in season 3? How is this going to go there too? So it's interesting. And the show is the show and the movie is the movie. We all know that's one of those things that it could happen with for sure. So Maine says, Q&A, do you think Virgil will later become Sheriff Kapoor towards the end of the series? They oddly look similar. Well, Sheriff Kapoor was like a trolling thing that Kirkman did. It wasn't like a real character, in my opinion. I don't think Virgil is going to be a character that turns into like this main character that leads the show. But I think Virgil's being on the show is connected with Michonne's disappearance, and Virgil's going to come back around. Like, what's the story going to be for Virgil after season 10? Does he live? Does he die? Is his main thing to be to tell everybody about Michonne, and then Daryl or Carol or somebody goes out to go look for Michonne and try to track her down? Because Virgil doesn't know exactly where Michonne went. Virgil didn't put GPS, and he doesn't know where she went and can't find her. He knows that she went on a boat, a naval cruiser, naval ship, and she went somewhere. Maybe New Jersey, maybe Delaware, maybe Maryland, New York, Pennsylvania. Maybe she's up there somewhere in the Northeast, and Daryl's got to go find a way. But maybe Jadis comes back and tells them, but what's the point of Virgil to continue on? I just don't know. But we'll see. You know, the show loves to bring people in, do their little story, say what they say, do what they do, and then they vanish on there as well. Certain people get more story than others. When in doubt, give it to Daryl. That's for sure is my little slogan. But I do love the idea of Daryl being a big part of the show for so many reasons. But I brought up several videos that hopefully people will watch down the road when it gets closer to it. I know The Walking Dead being on hiatus and on break, so a lot of people aren't watching stuff. But Daryl is not, to me, the person that really could be involved with the Commonwealth. Daryl is not the political leader that's going to be having conversations with really a government official or a congressperson that, doesn't make sense to me, right? In the comics, it's Pamela Milton talking with Michonne, talking with Rick. Dwight is the character that could go, like Daryl could be Dwight, where Daryl doesn't trust these people and Daryl doesn't know when to be there, but that could be that character, right? But I don't see the certain stuff playing out exactly going to happen with the comic story arc with the Commonwealth happening with the show, because so many different things have happened. So many different characters are gone. Like there's no Dwight. Rick's in the movies, so I'm not sure. I think the Commonwealth is just going to be for the show. So I'm not sure what the Commonwealth aspect is going to be for that. I do think that Yumiko is going to get the Michonne story arc, so we'll see with it, and hopefully you guys checked out my video about the Connie theory that she could be the person that her daughter is looking for. I don't know how old she would be, if she would be on the board. Are we going to see that board? It's definitely a good theory that I thought was really great, and I definitely shared it with you guys, so hopefully you checked it out. Jason Moonshot Phillips, what do you think the extended 6 episodes are going to be about? I have a whole video talking about that, whole separate video, so definitely check it out if you haven't seen it already. But I basically think it's going to be like an Oceanside episode, maybe a Hilltop episode, maybe Alexandria. I just don't think it's going to be that great of material, because if it's going to be material that's going to be good, it'll probably be in season 11. And they said that it's not going to steal anything from season 11. So season 11 is going to be its own stuff. So how could you have that much of great episodes? To me, there'll be 6 bottle episodes. They'll go after the war. It'll be rebuilding Hilltop, rebuilding Oceanside. Maybe, Daryl talking with Carol a little bit. Maybe we'll have some aspects of the Whisperer still around. I doubt it. Maybe Negan. Maybe different. I just don't know. Ezekiel most likely be involved. Maybe it has to do with the Commonwealth, the soldiers, the stormtrooper lookalikes, taking Ezekiel, Yumiko, Princess, and Eugene to the Commonwealth, or the Commonwealth people talking with them before they go back to the Commonwealth. I just don't think we're going to see the Commonwealth in those. It just doesn't make sense for me. Let's see what we got. Rob Rishel. I want to say Rob Riggle, but I know it's Rob Rishel, but just because it just is together. When do you think we'll start getting more frequent Walking Dead news hype for when they start airing again in October? It's been pretty sparse since the web San Diego Comic-Con 2020. Probably very soon, next month, September, October. I mean, definitely when we get into October, right? Definitely when we're there, we're going to be doing stuff in the October realm, because we have The Walking Dead season 10 finale, the World Beyond season 1 episode 1 premiere, Talking Dead. That's going to be a big day. October 4th is going to be a big day. Then we got October 11th, Fear the Walking Dead. I'm guessing Fear the Walking Dead and World Beyond are going to overlap a little bit, because we'll have 8 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead. World Beyond is 10 episodes, but one of those episodes will be before that, so we have 9 episodes left. It'll be covering those, and I'm guessing they'll be on the same day, Sundays. So we'll have World Beyond, Fear the Walking Dead, Talking Dead, or Fear the Walking. I guess I don't know how they want to break it down, but once we get to October, we'll be getting more episodes, more news. Probably the early word is that they're going to start filming in October for season 10 and a half, 10C, the 6 extra episodes. So I just think that's what they're going to be too. So, Freako Rico, what about those 6 extended episodes? Yeah, I mean, I just answered it, but I think they're going to be, start filming in October. And my main thing that I think what could happen with that, I think we have a whole separate video talking about that, so definitely go check that out. Let me see. Let me answer this one other question by Maine. What other stories do you think they can tell with Carol? I feel like her story has done full circles multiple times with her arc. That's true. They've kind of, when in doubt, give it to Daryl and Carol, They give a lot of stuff to Daryl and a lot of stuff to Carol. Carol saved the group multiple times, and Carol's done this, and Carol's been connected with that. Daryl's connected with Carol, and Carol's connected with Daryl. So Daryl and Carol, their story arc will go there. Carol is probably going to be connected with Lydia. Lydia, I would assume, survives the season 10 finale. Carol can probably be connected with Connie and Kelly or something. You could throw Carol in the mix of anything. I just don't know. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be. Ezekiel's away, so Carol and Ezekiel, there's really nothing going on there. Ezekiel probably survives at the Commonwealth. I would assume that the group comes back. Does Carol go to the Commonwealth? Carol could be her same thing, right? So Carol is the person that disguises herself very well. She's, like a housewife, a homemaker, where she can blend in at Alexandria. But she was probably one of the most deadly characters out of everybody that made it to Alexandria. She blends in very well. She kind of did the same thing at the Kingdom. A little bit like that. Will she do the same thing at the Commonwealth? Maybe it's rinse and repeat. Give it to Carol, have her blend in, do those things. She gets information. I would assume that Carol connects with somebody and does your own thing at the Commonwealth. Commonwealth makes sense for the exploration in season 11 and beyond. And then after that, I'm just not sure what they're going to do. But they can come up with a lot of stuff for Carol. Carol, who's played by Melissa McBride, is very essential for the show in a lot of aspects. And, I said it last live stream that I think that Aaron is very underrated. And I think Carol is very underrated too. Like Carol, a lot of people don't want to see that she's dealing with these problems and she lost a lot of people and people don't care about that. Well, that would affect you greatly if you lost your child. Her husband was terrible, but she lost her husband. She lost her child. She lost another child. She lost a lot of people, right? She lost a lot of people in there too. And that takes its toll on you. And she didn't want to be around people because she lost a lot of people the more people she was around. So it's kind of believable in my opinion too, post-traumatic stress and big moments and big things. I just think that Carol, like Freako Rico says, Carol was just in a bad place and some other stuff there, he says. But, she does have to get her stuff together in a lot of aspects because we want to see awesome Carol. We want to see awesome Daryl. We want to see Cray Morgan doing some big things on Fear. We want to see these characters. We like to see it, and I would assume that the writers are going to give, their main characters a lot of good stuff too. So I saw something. Jackie says, hey, Brian, everyone, just popping in to say hello. It's been a busy day, but I have to replay this. Hope everyone's doing well, staying healthy and safe. Thank you, Jackie, for coming by, and thank you for everybody for joining me this live stream. I'm going to have to go through it and make sure the other one doesn't go through. I know there was technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream, so I'll have to see if it just restarted or not or what happened there. But thank you, as always. Appreciate it, too. So. We like characters to have their ups and downs and all arounds, but we do like the big moments, right? Some of the best moments on The Walking Dead were Carol saving the group at, Terminus. And, there's two questions that I wanted to bring up too. I don't know why. I think about this stuff all the time. But Rob K says, who do you think is the best actor the main show has ever had? I vote Michael Rooker. That's a good one. That's tough, Rob K. Michael is up there for sure. Melissa McBride is really good. Andrew Lincoln on the show is really good. Denai Guerrera is great too. Herschel, was really good. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, that's a tough one. To vote for your best actor, man, I don't know how to do the best person because there's so many good actors that came on the show and, Michael Cutlass was great, and so many great actors on there, and it's been great, and that shows a lot of great acting, great people being cast in this show. Imagine if we didn't have the cast that we had, it probably wouldn't be on the show. The show wouldn't be as on for as long as it has been too. But my question for you that I'm going to bring up too is, way back when in season 7, episode 1, well, season 6, episode 16 into season 7, episode 1, right? So what would you rather have had? And you have to pick one or the other, right? So would you have rather had Glenn or Abraham die? One of them has to die. One of them survives. So if you pick Abraham, Abraham lives, Glenn dies. If you pick Glenn, Glenn lives, Abraham dies. And I was thinking about it too. Like, I could just see the table meeting, and they're like, okay, you know what we're going to do here? Everybody knows that Glenn dies in the comic. So Glenn still going to die. But you know what's going to happen? Abraham is going to be picked. And the comic readers are going to be like, yes, Glenn lives. It's changed. And then what's going to happen? How do we do this? Why would Negan kill another person? I have it. Daryl's going to come up and throw a punch. Even though he was just shot in the arm, he's going to come up and punch Negan in the face. And Negan is not going to kill Daryl because Daryl's got to live. Who could he kill? Glenn. I got it, right? But it's just like, man, imagine if Negan just picked one character, right? So Negan's like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and he picks Abraham, and Glenn lives. How does that change the story? It impacts it so much, right? Glenn, Maggie, Hilltop, just there. Glenn isn't the best fighter. Abraham was a far better fighter than Glenn, even though Glenn was great. Glenn is one of the most important characters on the show, especially early on, right? But Abraham was hilarious. He would have been great in the war. Maybe he dies in the war. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, man, I would have loved to see a little more Abraham in the story, even though I love Glenn, Stephen Young, great, good stuff on there as well. And I brought this up in my Morgan video that I think I said in the live stream as well. I think Morgan is up there, if not the most important character on the show. We all know Rick is. I mean, come on. That's just obvious, right? But Morgan is definitely up there. He's connected with so many things. He's definitely been so important with, saving Rick, coming back in season 3, coming back to the show. It's just crazy on there as well, too. So it's like, what happens to Fear the Walking Dead, the only person to really cross over like that, then Dwight, so the main crossover character was Morgan, and they brought some other people over. That's pretty big. That's pretty big time for the shows. But, if you look about it, too, and then I think Diane brought up a great question too. Then Glenn's got to be on your list. I thought that's a great question. And I talked about, I'm going to probably make a video on it. Besides Rick, Rick is very important for the show. He's the main protagonist. So obviously he's important, right? So I think Morgan's up there. Glenn is definitely up there. Daryl, that's just crazy. It's just crazy to think of, like, it's a great question. I mean, there's no right or wrong of it, but who's up there with your, most important characters on the show? Maine asks, do you think Connie is somewhere within the Horde? It seems like obvious setup if writers decided to have Daryl and Kelly as one of the pairings. Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense that she's there. I really hope we see her in the season 10 finale. I definitely think that she could be involved there with the Walkers, but that's crazy to think that she was with Magna. Her and Magna got split up. Magna went back to Hilltop. So Connie's been on her own for so long, and that would be pretty terrifying to have Connie, who's deaf, be around all these walkers, no one in her support group. She's worried about a bunch of different things. She's on her own. That would be kind of crazy to think about it, but I really hope she's seen and protected, and she's not a walker. She's alive and well, and she's a big part of the season 10 finale. I hope so many big things happen in there too. I just really, really hope it makes sense. And I really hope it's entertaining because we've been waiting forever. That's for sure, too. So, guys, I'm going to go for about 2 more minutes. Sorry for the technical difficulties early on. I know it was a problem with the audio and the connecting and stuff on there, too. But I'd say we did pretty good. Kimberly asks, do you think Beta is going to be killed or Negan? I don't think that... I personally think that Beta survives, goes to... gets away with a couple whispers, and he's part of season 11 because it just makes sense to have that threat out there, a la the governor in season 4, where he comes back and it's still there. It's still a threat. To throw Beta away. We already lost Alpha this season, So why not have Beta, be out there? I think it just makes sense too, because like I said in several videos that, the Commonwealth, they're villains, but they're not villains. It's like the next group. The Commonwealth is like an Alexandria or a Woodbury, but Pamela Milton is like Deanna. They're not, villains. Deanna wasn't a villain. There was a couple villainous type characters in Alexandria, but they weren't villains as a whole. Same thing with Commonwealth. There's not really villains there. They're more like an extended, more populated version of Alexandria. So that's not really a villain. The villains that came around were the wolves, the walkers, of course, the saviors. They were villains. We don't really have that after this. To me, it makes sense to have the CRM be the villains of that, and the Commonwealth is connected with them, but they're not connected with them as they're the same group. It just makes sense too. So, Maine's asking some great questions. Last question I answer here is, where's Rosita? Could she appear in the finale? I think Rosita is going to be seen in the season 10 finale. I think she's personally at Oceanside. We didn't see her at the tower. We didn't see her in the trailer. We didn't see her in there. We didn't see any of that. I personally think she is at Oceanside. We don't know that yet, but it's just my theory. This last question from Rob Rishel. Do you think they will use Beta to drag out the season 10C episodes? I don't think so personally. I think that Beta will be either killed in the season 10 finale, or we'll see him in season 11. He won't be in the 6 extended episodes personally, but you never know too. John Grisham says, can Daryl die in season 11? Daryl can die at any time, but it's highly, highly, highly unlikely that he ever dies on the show. Daryl Dixon, you're going to be the last man standing. Beth said it, and I believe it. So thank you guys for watching, being a part of it. Awesome, great chat, great questions, great everything. Sorry for the technical difficulties again at the beginning of it, but thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. And remember, guys, with hard work and dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, making memories, staying true to yourself. Be safe out there, blocking out the haters, that's for sure, but you just do some big things. And, I have a book series, Fight for Us. If you want to check it out, it really helps the channel. And that really started years ago. I asked people on Facebook if they still read books, and people said yes. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I took a leap of faith. Some people like it. Some people love it. Some people don't like it, and that's okay. Same thing about The Walking Dead, TV shows, movies. Definitely something out there. Do what you love. Try to make it work. Work hard. With hard work, dedication, belief, you can achieve your goals. I'm proof of that. You can do it too. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you next week, next Sunday.